Hello, you're welcome to What the Papers Are Saying. My name is Vivian Kailoko. Thank you so much for making time to join us again for today's edition. We'll look at the big stories for the week and have conversations around the stories that made headlines. When we come back, I'll take you through those big stories and we'll delve into those stories. So stay with us. We'll be right back. So you're welcome back to What the Papers Are Saying. Let's take you through the big stories for the week. Of course, the biggest has to do with that leaked tape where the Attorney General, together with one of the witnesses in the ambulance trial involving the minority leader, has popped up. So let's see how that story was captured by the media houses. We'll start with a new finder. They say NDC NPP sharply divided over Jakpa Dami audio. The Ghanaian publisher says, after forcing trial, NPP rallies behind Dami, says NDC's Jakpa tape doctored. And then we'll wrap up with myjoinonline.com, where that website says Godfrey Dami will continue his duties. Leaked audio won't affect court case. That's the Deputy Attorney General speaking over there. We'll move away from that story and go to another, still making headlines, has to do with the Pwalugu Dam, and see how that story is being captured. We'll start with the Herald. They say farmers shocked at $12 million blown on Ghost Pwalugu Dam project. The Informer says $993 million Pwalugu project, Parliament calls for probe. And then Citi Newsroom says, Pwalugu Dam, persons involved in $12 million misappropriation must be prosecuted. This is Honorable Bauer speaking over there. So let's move away from that. And the Citi is still making some headlines, of course, due to its level of depreciation against the major currencies, the dollar, the pound and the euro. So let's see where we've gotten with that in terms of discussions in the media terrain. Citi Newsroom says BOG sets up task force to monitor illegal operators in forex market. 3news.com says bring down the exchange rate to 10 cedis to $1. Traders tell government. And then My Joy Online says Citi depreciation a ritual problem. Bawumia will fix it, as the Deputy Finance Minister speaking over there. Now, our third story is one that has been running for some time now, has to do with the SNIT hotels and issues around the sale of SNIT shares in some key hotels. So where have we gotten to that story as captured by media outlets? Asase Radio says Akufo-Addo directs Labour Minister to address issues surrounding sale of 4 SNIT hotels. My Joy Online says SNIT hotels, Akufo-Addo should have reprimanded Brian Champor publicly. That's Martin Pebble speaking over there. And then the final story that made headlines has to do with students, Ghanaian students abroad who are stranded because of authorities' failure to pay for their fees, among others. So let's see how Citi Newsroom captured the story. It says Ghanaian students in Morocco face eviction over delayed stipends. And finally on that story, My Joy Online says Nukes asks government to urgently address suffering of Ghanaian students on scholarship abroad. So those are the top 5 stories for the week. When we come back, I'll introduce my guest and we'll look at these stories. We'll be right back. So you're welcome back. In the studio with me, I have 2 gentlemen who always join us to delve into the issues, and they'll continue doing that today as expected. Selam Adonu is here with us at Citi FM and Citi TV. On Saturdays, he hosts The Big Issue. Selam, welcome.
Thank you, Vivian.
And then I also have Samiri Afi also here with us at Citi FM and Citi TV. He's our presidential correspondent and every now and then makes appearances on The Situation Room, which also airs on Thursdays on Citi TV. Sami, welcome.
Thank you very much. Good evening.
Good evening to you. Gentlemen, so let's start with this AG matter, this leaked tape. We've heard the 16 minutes audio of that leaked tape We're told there's a longer one, which is supposed to be over 26 minutes. We're yet to get that one. But as it stands, we have the 16 minutes one. Very serious discussions on that tape and a lot of questions raised over the people involved and whether what was done or said in the tape or what is happening around the tape is a violation of the rules and all that. Salom, today is on you with this matter especially, and then some will come in at a point. But help us understand the issues around what has popped up. The two things I got from that tape is one, where the AG is trying to get Jackpot to do things or say things that will push, you know, the incarceration of the minority leader. And the second one, telling him that he should lie to the judge by getting a medical report and all that. But I'm sure there are more things and more, you know, issues or violations around that. But when you heard the tape, I'm sure you've listened to the full tape. What were some of the takeaways, shocking takeaways for you? Well,
interesting turn of events. There are many things, I should say in practice, we take for granted, but which are actually frowned upon by the laws. In fact, even in civil matters, as lawyer for a party, you are not supposed to be communicating directly with the other party. You have to communicate with a person through the person's lawyer.
So that shouldn't have happened.
It shouldn't have happened.
Okay.
So you don't communicate with the other person. That's even in civil cases. And this is in a criminal case, and you have the prosecutor. The prosecutor is so powerful because the prosecutor is the one who puts the facts together, presents the facts to the judge for the judge to convict you. So conviction means you could be sentenced to a fine, life imprisonment, anything. So the prosecutor wields power. When we are talking about prosecutors wielding power, which is an important thing, all that power is bundled and placed in one person in Article 88 of the Constitution, in the Attorney General. So when you see the embodiment of the power of prosecution, you know, engaged in what ordinarily should not happen in the manner he did, I think it raises a lot of issues. It raises a lot of issues. It shouldn't have been in the first place. Of course, we hear that there were conversations about the conversations were centered around plea bargain, etc. But that didn't appear to be what we heard. Of what they said, it was a 26-minute or so video or audio. What we heard is about 16 minutes. We don't know what the rest talked about. But normally, if you allege that what has come out is doctored, you produce the original, so we compare and contrast. So a few things. You know, the manner in which he was talking, the fact of he talking to the guy on phone, and the guy said he spoke to him at odd hours. Speaking to him on phone without the knowledge of his lawyer was wrong, I mean, to start with. But the nature of the communication appeared that he was trying to coach him, he was trying to interview him, he was trying to get him on a certain side of the case. That should not happen. Ethically, that is wrong. You know, the legal profession is one which is heavily regulated. You know, I tell people that if you know, we are not happy with the regulatory agencies in Ghana, but the General Legal Council is one of those regulatory agencies that you cannot hide away from. I mean, it is heavily regulated to the extent that they even tell you don't have to advertise. If you want to put out a notice like a signboard, the size of the signboard, it should be a certain way. I can't come and see you and tell you, okay, you have this case, let me do this case for you. That will amount to, you know, me soliciting. And these are all against the rules. Heavily, you know, regulated. Now, when you look at regulation, so one of the rules really which regulates the practice of law is LI 2423, which is the Legal Professional Conduct and Etiquette Rules of 2020. When you look at Rule 13 or Regulation 13 of this document, it talks about communication with represented person. So it says a lawyer shall not approach, communicate, or deal with a represented person on a matter, or attempt to negotiate or compromise a matter directly with a represented person, except through or with the consent of the lawyer of that represented person. So in this case, what was Damin doing? Was he doing so through the lawyer of the gentleman, or he was doing so with the consent of the gentleman's lawyer? It shouldn't be, even in civil cases. But it's a criminal case. And this is the Attorney General the one with the stick and the one prosecuting the person. He wields so much power that he is able to ordinarily compromise the person. And that shouldn't be.
So in the case that perhaps, because you said in a civil case, if the lawyer consents to it, they can go ahead.
No, if the lawyer consents to it, then it means it's fine. It's okay. But I want to talk to your client on ABC. I will not just allow you to talk to my client because I don't want you to sow things in my client's mind. So I will want to know what you want to tell the client. Maybe we are at the point of settlement, etc. So I think it doesn't matter. Or what you want to talk to him about doesn't matter. So go ahead and talk.
But in a criminal case, he can't at all, even with the consent.
No, so with the consent of the lawyer, you can do that. I mean, there should always be a consent, or you should do so through the lawyer. That's how it is. All right. So let's look at 56. Duty to assist the court. The lawyer's duty, really, lawyers are officers of the court. Your primary duty is to assist the court to come to justice. Help the court determine a matter. That is your job in court. That's why the law even frowns upon lawyers withholding information from the court. All right, so duty to assist the court. Look at 56 2D. It says a prosecutor, the AG is a prosecutor. The prosecutor shall not confer with or interview an accused person. You do not have to confer with him. All he was doing was trying to confer with him. You do not have to confer with him. You do not have to interview him. It is clear. So what was the AG doing? What was he thinking? To the extent that you go ahead to even suggest to the person to feign illness and produce a sick leave. A sick leave, That is scandalous. You do not do that. You are the AG. The AG is a leader of the bar. In fact, when you go to court and the AG is there, the AG is called first. He's the primus inter pares. In fact, when you go to court and lawyers from the Attorney General's department are there, you may be their seniors or not, they call them first because the AG is the leader of the bar. It's a very, very powerful position. So you don't do this. You don't do this. It's not good. And a lot of these rules are, we have the rules of court, etc., putting these rules together. And the AG often knows about this and is a key person in all of this. You do not confer or interview an accused person. Now you are conferring and interviewing the person. Not just that, you are coaching the person on what to say, allegedly, to cage another person. That is wrong. And the gentleman has said that he is unable to do so. Of course, a lot of other issues arise from that. There are issues of secret recordings, breach of privacy, etc. But the law on that is clear. Secret recordings cannot be admissible in court. But there are exceptions to that. In the Anas case, where he filmed the judge, those were secret recordings. But at some point, they became admissible because of the overriding public interest and the public nature of those things. So these are some of the exceptions. Ordinarily, if I'm talking to you and I record you, I cannot use that in court because it will not be admissible. But if the exceptions of national security concerns, health, public health, etc., come in, the court will look at those and uphold the exceptions. So in this case, of course, there are other matters of motion to stay proceedings or strike out charges, etc. And they are hoping to rely on these voice recordings. It will be interesting to see how the court deals with that. But given precedents, I'm sure the court will admit it because this is a matter of gross national interest and there are key public officers involved. It shouldn't happen. I don't know what the AG was thinking. And to the extent that at some point, he even felt he was being recorded. So if what you were saying was nothing, why should you say, maybe, I don't even know if you are recording. Why should you even say so? Because he knew in his mind that, where he was, the grounds he was on were not good. So he had to throw in that it's okay, this on phone. I don't even know if you are recording or that kind of thing. If you were saying something generally okay, or something which doesn't spoil anything or doesn't infringe on any rule, why would you be concerned about somebody, recording? He knew it, that he shouldn't be doing so. But he went ahead to do it for whatever reason, I don't know. So now, unfortunately, it has become NDC MPP. So you see MPP immediately after the NDC press conference also come up. It obfuscates justice delivery. And it's not the best.
So violations in there, and of course the General Legal Counsel should step in then, but they've been silent on this.
Yeah, the General Legal Counsel will not ordinarily step in. I think somebody must make a complaint, I think. And I will not be surprised if people have started thinking around all of those. But early days yet, the matters, I think, are layered. And so it's one day at a time. I think people want to exhaust the content of the tape. They see what will happen next and all of that. And, you know, it affords the accused persons some reprieve and some, should I say, excitement in the court of public opinion. What this is doing is that it may frustrate the judge. The judge ordinarily should just look at the facts and the law evidence, evaluate it, and come to a certain conclusion. But of course, we are made to believe, or sometimes we are tempted to believe, that the judges don't listen to what is happening. It's not true. The judges have friends. They go to church. They go to the market. They watch TV. They do everything. So they are on social media. Of course, I know some of them on social media with other names. They are on social media. They watch all of these things, and they are human beings. In as much as they may try not to allow these things to influence their decision making, they are human beings. I mean, they are human beings who are friends and do all kinds of things. And they were in the community before they became judges. And they still live in the community, even though sometimes we want to believe that they are a bit isolated because of the nature of their job and how they do it. But it frustrates justice. So now the judge innocently may be wanting to do her job, but no matter the direction she goes with the case, somebody will have something to say. So what does that say about justice? And who would have occasioned this? Is Attorney General. The primus inter pares, who should have known better, would now, instead of projecting the image of the judiciary, his actions will now be dragging the judiciary backwards. Already, it's unfortunate to say that the way the judiciary is being perceived these days for political reasons, etc., it's not been the best. It's a perception. It doesn't mean it's reality. But these things do not help that perception. They rather reinforce that perception. So I think the AG misconducted himself in the manner he carried that on with that conversation, and it should not be. Now a lot of things are happening. I see Atuforsin also write to the CJ wanting a televised, proceedings. What is that supposed to be? He said transparency and all of that, which means so they are inviting the public into it. So in the end, it becomes a public fight. It becomes an NDC and NPP fight. If you go ahead to jail him, it could mean that you are persecuting him. If he doesn't, the court doesn't succeed in jailing him, they say, okay, it was because we did this, that's why the court couldn't jail him, or the court looked at what was happening outside. No matter how you look at it, I think it puts a bit of constraint on the court, which is very, very, very unfortunate. Okay,
I'll come back to you on whether calls for the AG to resign or be sacked are misplaced, but I have to bring in Sami. Sami, lawyer has spoken, giving us all the,
you do.
So you come in now, and we've had the MPP come immediately. The NDC did their presser, released a 16-minute recording. The MPP too came out about an hour later. Frank Davis addressed the press and said, one, that tape was doctored, two, there was another meeting somewhere, and all that, So what do you think?
Well, as thank you, Vivian. As Saloma said, we are doing politics with this case altogether again. There is NDC and MPP. As you can address a press conference called on the Attorney General to resign or the President to sack him. Moments after, Frank Davis also coming to say what he's supposed to say. His argument is that if the tape is 26 minutes and you played only 60 minutes, where is the rest of the tape? And so play for the Ghanaian people to also know what the other side of the tape.
So why don't they bring the 26 minutes?
So now the MPP has challenged the NDC to also come out with the rest of the tape.
Oh,
if indeed
you are saying there's some longer one, so you bring it.
If indeed because they claim that NDC has the full tape, and if they have been able to play 16 minutes. It's 26 minutes, according to the MPP. Now bring the remaining 10 minutes. What is on that particular 10 minutes? Let the Ghanaian people know what is on it. You don't come and just edit and play parts and then leave the rest. So bring the full thing. So they've challenged the NDC to produce that part of the tape. But Vivian, for me, when I heard it, I was very surprised. I was shocked.
Why were you shocked?
Because these are two people in the thick of event as far as this case is concerned. And as lawyer has explained, when you're doing this, you must have the consent of the person's lawyer. For now, we do not know whether the lawyer was informed or was aware of this particular conversation between the AG and Mr. Jackman.
If the lawyer was aware, they would have said it by now. They would have said it by now that they did so upon the express consent of the person's lawyer. If that fact was available, you think they wouldn't have thrown it in by now? They would have. That's it.
Okay.
So that strikes out.
That strikes that one out. So I was a bit shocked. And Vivian, my worry is in this era of technology, why would you want to have a conversation with somebody on phone?
Yeah.
On such an important
you feel a
case?
bit reckless
A bit
or
reckless.
careless there.
Recklessness and carelessness. I'll put both together because at a point, even thought that you were being recorded because you can't have, even our normal conversations with our friends are being recorded.
Yeah.
And then an AG, the chief legal person for the state, having a conversation with an accused person in this matter on phone. Were you not scared that something like this was going to happen?
Well, he actually felt it and said it.
Yeah,
still went ahead.
But still went ahead. But I don't know whether maybe he was carried away or perhaps it's happened before. We're in this country when a certain minister was seen in a video call with a woman asking him to turn around and see what the person is wearing. So it's not surprising that we have an attorney general wanting to have a conversation with somebody on phone, without thinking of the risks involved or what's going to happen next. Now, Jakpa has filed an application today asking that all charges against him be dropped because of the perceived misconduct against the AG in this matter. Now they are going to listen to or pursue this particular side of the story. Honorable Ato Forson has also asked that this particular case now be shown live for all to see because they smell some way, somehow that there's going to be some unfairness in one way or the other. And as Saloma said, no matter where this case goes, whether for Ato or against Ato, the Ghanaian people will know that this is what happened. He's being jailed because he's a thorn in the flesh of the MPP when it comes to the pushing of government agenda, because Ato has been really difficult when it comes to parliamentary, from his days as the ranking member on finance committee and minority leader. He's been a thorn in the flesh of the MPP. We can't hide away from that. Now, if you decide to jail him, is it that he was being persecuted? Is it that you wanted to silence him? Is it that he was becoming too difficult for you to crack one way or the other in parliament? The other way around, if he's not jailed, well, the Ghanaian people also say that because they brought out this particular tape, if you decide to jail him, the court of public opinion will come against you. So let him go free, even though he has breached the law. Now, it's a very difficult position, and I'm sure the Chief Justice will give a determination whether it's going to be live or not. I'm reliably informed that the president wants to have a conversation with Godfrey Daniel when he comes back from US. He's traveled. We are told he's traveled. And I'm reliably informed that when he returns, he's coming this weekend. And then when he comes back, the president may want to have a conversation with him on this matter. Whether he will ask him to resign or sack him, that we do not know. But the conversation the two of them will have will lead us to whether the president may want to take a decision to let him stay or let sack him or he resigning his position. I've heard his deputy, Tua say that he's focused, he's going to do his job as Attorney General, going to make sure that what is supposed to be done is done. But I feel when he enters the courtroom with all these things surrounding him, will he be able to have the free mind to pursue this case? Will he have the courage to go ahead and face Jakpa and the rest in court, knowing very well what has happened, knowing very well what has happened in the tape, asking him and coaching him what to say and what not to say? Meanwhile, we are told that he's an accused person. Was it that the AG was telling him to be a prosecution witness one way or the other? That we do not know. So if he, in the thick of events, will do this, I wonder how it's going to happen. And as Salam said, the judge is now going to be in a very difficult position. Yeah. If I were the judge, I may want to step aside and get another judge to take over this case, or maybe the Chief Justice may want to replace the judge and bring in another judge who will come and continue with this matter, because it puts enormous pressure on the judge who's going to hear this case because of what has happened around it.
But is the president happy with the turn of events, from what you know?
From what I know, he's not. And the more reason why he wants to have a conversation with the AG.
Does he believe there are violations in there, from what you know?
I'm unable to tell. Yes, I'm unable to tell. The more reason why he wants to have a conversation with the AG on his return. I'm sure he's at the side of the NDC, heard the tape, heard what people are saying. Now let me hear from my appointee, also side of the story, and the decision will be taken on that.
You know, so I mean, Sammy is a man with he has information from the big house. So it's fair that the president will want to hear from the Attorney General. It's a basic principle in natural justice. We call it the odi ottaren parting. You don't condemn a man until you've heard him. So you have to hear him, and then you condemn him. If you are convinced that you have to condemn him, you do. If you are convinced you are not supposed to do so, then that's fine. So he has to be heard. That's what the president said. And incidentally, the president himself was AG. So the president will want to be asking himself that as AG, did I do a thing like this, or could I have done a thing like this? And if I did a thing like this, would it have been ethical?
Yeah.
And based upon the value judgment he places on that, then we will see what direction it takes with this. But what was the AG allegedly trying to get Jakpa to do, according to Jakpa? He was trying to get him, according to Jakpa, to provide responses that will implicate Atuforcing. So, for example, and we saw in the affidavit in support for the motion is filed to stay proceedings or strike out the charges against him, that he said the AG has told him that he will get him acquitted because he's innocent. All right. So why are you keeping him there? You are keeping him in there so that because they are co-accused, it appears, and in this matter especially, their interests are twin. Their interests are intertwined. So if you get Jakpa to say things against the Atuforcing, it becomes a bit more credible than Atuforcing saying, I didn't do it. So, no, but you told me. No, so the first accused told me that he would do ABC. And across examination, are you sure? Yes, no. That day in front of his office, or by this area, there's a spot there, or there's some place we went to meet, and that's what he told me this. So he will say things to implicate him. He will say things to support the case of the AG. That's what he says. That what the AG was trying to get him to do. So if he's able to do that, it turns everything now on Atuforcing, because this was the person you did a thing with, supposedly. And now he is saying that no, you did ABC, the thing you are saying you didn't do. You did it with him. And he's also a defendant, or he's an accused. And he's telling you that no, you did this, you told me this here. In fact, when we were bringing a letter, I said I should do this, or I should forge this, or we should get this done, and I did it. Or I didn't do it, but you went ahead to get it done a certain way. That's what he was trying to, that's what he claimed the AG was trying to get him to do.
And he was pushing that. He feels that if there were any discrepancies, it's Shariate who signed.
So and all
he's
of that.
also pushing it somewhere.
Of course, Shariate is
and
no
she's
more.
dead.
So now
but Salom, a Supreme Court judge has also been mentioned in this thing, also meeting with the gentleman involved. We are told that they're related and all that. I mean, what is going on here?
Yeah, so you see, so two ways you can look at it. You can look at it and say, no, this is terrible, this is bad, this shouldn't happen.
Yeah.
Okay.
Should it be meeting with him?
And it shouldn't happen.
Yeah.
But you see, you shouldn't also forget the cultural context. Okay? We know about chiefs who intervene in appointments. We know about some important cases, and some important or key persons in those cases were not prosecuted because of who they are, what they represent. So it's a human thing, it's a cultural thing. And prosecution is at the discretion of the Attorney General. It's at the discretion of the state. You decide who you want to prosecute. So yes, the chief, a Supreme Court judge getting into this, I don't know the full story. I've not heard from the said Supreme Court judge. I don't know at what point these meetings took place, whether these meetings took place before the charges were preferred against the gentleman or not. I do not know. But it is something, it is not entirely strange to have influential people.
Make it right.
No, to have influential people in society trying to intervene and do a few things. It doesn't make it right, okay? But there's a way we hide behind culture. I mean, you can be in a case and chiefs will call you, or chiefs will call the judge. We saw recently a case in Boga or somewhere that the judge, was unhappy in court and said a particular chief was trying to call him to come to his palace to discuss the case, and he didn't like it. We saw that. Whether it was true or not, in fact, the judge had to run away for some time because the youth of the town were chasing him and all of that. These things happen. Why should the youth chase the chief, the judge? Because they feel that what the chief did was nothing wrong. There was nothing wrong with that. And as a chief, he had the right to do so in their mind. So you can't divorce the culture from it. Even though I do not think ethically he should be sitting or he should be in a meeting of that nature. I don't know the context. I don't know how things happened. We've not been privy to the discussion. I don't know at what point in the trial that meeting took place. But I think it's unfortunate. It puts the Supreme Court judge in a very difficult position. It furthers a certain notion that justice is not justice after all. It's not real. It's just a group of people sitting somewhere who decide to jail those they want to jail and free those they want to free. It's unfortunate that the Supreme Court judge's name has come into this. Judges play a lot of role in settling matters.
Okay.
A lot of role in settling matters even before the matters go to court. Because maybe you are a judge, myself and Sami have an issue, with respect to, we can come before you, you look at the matter for us, and you suggest a way we should solve it. Then we solve it, we don't go to court. You know, and it may be in court, we may need somebody to mediate,
Yeah.
we may come to you because you're a mutual friend or somebody we both respect, you will look at it and then suggest to us how we should do it. Of course, it's not binding, you know, but this is a criminal matter. It's a bit interesting.
Okay.
And it's unfortunate that it puts the gentleman in a very difficult situation.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'll take your final thought on the Kulende popping up. The MPP is the one that made that, you know, statement and all that. What do we know from their camp?
Well, from what I've gathered and from what Mr. Frank Davis has said, he was more or less like present in some of these meetings that the AG and Mr. Japa, you know, had in relation to this particular matter. And as Selim said, he was one way or the other trying to mediate in this whole case, because we understand that Mr. Kulende and then Ms. Japaman, one way or the other, come from the same area, sort of. And so, in Ghana, in a small community, you are my cousin, my brother, my uncle, and those things.
Related.
We are related one way or the other.
Well, you know, we even come from the same.
One way or the other. And so, bringing someone who is related to me in this whole case and letting him to more or less speak on my behalf or something is acceptable one way or the other.
Norm, sort of.
Yes, one way or the other. But then, looking at the law and the involvement in this particular case, you will ask that, was it right for him to also get himself involved in this matter? We'll wait and see. We'll see what.
But the question is, will the president, as his attorney general, a man he believes so much into, leave? I will not be surprised if he's not asked to leave. In fact, the MPP has said he's not going anywhere.
Well, somebody says
no, he said he wants to hear him.
Yeah, but
wanting to hear him doesn't mean he wants to go.
It's not.
I will not be surprised if he stays. I will not be surprised if he goes to, but I'll be more surprised if he leaves than if he stays.
Okay.
You know, because of how we have played politics in this country. People thinking that if he leaves, which is what it should be, it will be a defeat for the government or for the governing party. It's absurd the way we think in this country. Elsewhere, wherever he is, he would have resigned from there.
Yeah.
Because this is scandalous. This is scandalous. It should not happen.
Well, his deputy says he will continue.
But that's what he should say. So you want the deputy, you want the deputy to come and say that. You want his deputy to come and say that my boss will resign.
Does he have to? Do they have to
focus on doing what he's supposed to do?
Yes.
So it can, that says a lot.
It's PR. That's the line. You don't want to say my boss is confused, my boss is so worried about this situation that he can't focus. No, he's focused. He's in Washington or wherever on the ticket of the state. He's working hard for the country. That's what he should say. You know.
Right. It's what the papers are saying. When we come back, we'll look at other stories. Pwalugu Dam is up for discussion, and then, of course, the latest stipends for Ghanaian students. Every now and then, we hear this story. What is happening? Why are we finding it difficult to solve these problems? We'll be right back. Yeah, welcome back to what the papers are saying. Our next story has to do with the Pwalugu Dam. Let me take you through some headlines as some media houses reported. Citi newsroom, for example, says Pwalugu Dam persons involved in $12 million misappropriation must be prosecuted. A member of the minority speaking there. And then we have the Informer. They said that $993 million Pwalugu project, Parliament calls for probe. And then we also have the Herald. They say farmers are shocked at $12 million blown on the ghost Pwalugu Dam project. Selim.
I mean, like Ansasari said, that it does appear that the regime is being suffocated by scandals. And this Pwalugu thing started, in fact, the first time I saw a Pwalugu matter was some video on social media about Dr. Bawumia saying that, I think he was asked about what the single most important project for the North
he was in Upper East region. He was meeting the House of Chiefs. Okay.
No, I mean this one was a radio interview.
Oh, okay.
I think about a year or two ago. And the interviewer asked him what he thinks the single most important project for the northern part of Ghana is. And he said he thinks it's the Pwalugu Dam. and that he talked about it a lot, and investment, everything, how previous governments couldn't really do anything about it, and this government had done a lot about it. And from the way he spoke, I mean, you would think the dam was done and was functioning, you know. And so the video came about because now you have said this a year or two ago, and then now just yesterday or 2 days ago, you went to the area to meet the chiefs, and when a question also about the dam came up, or you decided to speak about the dam, you said that the dam hasn't been done, but when you come, you will do it. So if you put the two together, I mean, what's going on? What are you saying? Was it done? That's why you said it's the single most important project for the North, and all of that, all the benefits, etc. You enumerated. Or you said you will now do it. I was a bit confused. So I had to go and find out whether indeed the project has been done or not. And it's not surprising that few days after I saw that video, all these things about Pwalugu Dam are coming out. The Pwalugu Dam, as I said, if it's done, it will be the single most important, investment in the northern part of Ghana. It's a 3-in-1 project. So it has a hydro dam system to produce some 60 megawatts of power. It also has a solar component to produce some 50 megawatts of power, and an irrigation scheme for 25,000 hectares of land, and to improve the water supply situation generally in that part of the country. So that is major. Yeah. So if this is to be done, or this is done, it relieves the people in the area. It brings a lot of progress to the area, and it will be a good distribution of the national cake, more or less. But we don't see that. And the project was to cost about $1 billion, $993 million or something. And we are told that the $11.9 million or $12 million, which has been advanced, was for mobilization, etc. But people have gone to the place, I mean, just this last few days, and there's nothing happening there. So what is the mobilization? Is it that the contractor has packed and has left the place because of what reason we do not know, and are we not supposed to know? A lot of things are happening. So if this matter hadn't come up, $12 million would have been paid. The same thing we did for the Sky Train. We just paid some $2 million to some people for feasibility study or whatever, and that is gone. That is gone. And we mentioned millions and dollars as if it's small money. But that's not small money. That's a lot of money. The dollar today is about 15 cedis. And that's a lot of money, which can do a lot of things. But we throw them away just like that. I think it's not the best. So this is Pwalugu here. We're still discussing SML. It's a major matter. We are dealing with the SNIT hotels and all of that. And damming too has come. It does like almost every day or every week. There's something new to talk about, and it's not good. It is not good. I think I support a parliamentary probe into the Pwalugu matter. They should explain to us why the project is not happening, or if there's something done underground, which is part of the project. Let us see it. Let us cost it. Let's understand what the money has been used for. It's a lot of money, and I don't think the people of the North, given all the difficulties in that area, deserve this explanation we are giving to them. It is not good, and we must take things, we must be a bit more serious with how we expend money.
Okay. Sammy, the minority says that if they should win, when they come, they'll prosecute those who have misappropriated funds. And
it's important that issues of accountability also comes here. Paying this huge amount of money to a contractor, Power China, to do this, and then there's nothing to show really on the ground. Even the little knowledge I know about government contract, a lot of these contracts you pre-finance, and then when you are done, you raise letters of credit, and then the government pays you back. I don't know the arrangement they had with China, Power China, whether it was a government that was supposed to pre-finance this whole contract, and then I don't know the arrangement as far as this issue is concerned. But then when you read a statement from GEDA, that says that $11.9 million was given to the contractor as advance payment guarantee from a reputable bank. And according to them, this amount of money was used in the construction of camps and access roads. Those access roads, Edward Bauer has come out to say that they are not roads.
They are donkey
paths. And so if $12 million is used to construct what Edward Bauer says are donkey paths, and then camps, what sort of camps? Is it the usual contractors will build tents and put containers aside where workers will stay, and then their machineries will be kept there? Is that the camps they're talking about? And that costs us $12 million? I think we need more explanation when it comes to this. the members on the minority side who went on this tour have come out to say this. What about the majority members on the committee? Would they also embark on a similar tour, or they were part of the tour, but yet we are not hearing them speak on this matter? If what they claim,
we're told it's just the minority.
It's just the minority. Okay,
so
the majority,
do their own.
The majority side must also embark on their own tour and also come and tell us what they see on the ground. Fact finding mission. Now one side has gone; they are now controlling the narrative. Another side must also go, because the committee is always majority and majority side of the committee. Now the majority side must also embark on a similar journey, go and also come and tell us what they really saw. If indeed there's nothing on the land as the minority is saying, or there's something online and the minority is giving us a different story. But if the minority had gone there and have come back to tell us that there's nothing really to show for it, it's just the comes at the end of the day, it's cause for worry. Is it that the China Power is the only company that has the expertise to construct the solar, the irrigation?
No, they have the contract.
Yes,
they have the contract.
They
have to do it.
They have to do it. But I'm saying that a lot of these governments, why the choice? A lot of these companies, you pre-finance the contract, and then when you are done, government pays you. Why is it not this time around? Government is rather giving them the money to do these things. Is it that the contract is different? Is a different arrangement? Is it a different arrangement that we know?
It depends on many things. It depends on what the negotiations talked about.
Yes.
Produce bank guarantee will give you.
So that's why I'm saying that what is in their contract? Is it a different arrangement from the previous government contract that we know?
So you have a problem with the fact that government is pre-financing?
It's pre-financing.
But why not? If government wants to pre-finance, why not?
If it can.
A lot of government projects.
Government pays mobilization to people.
Yes, but a lot of government projects, it is the individual or the company that's embarking on the project that finances it. And then when you are done, the government pays you. For instance, this road contractor we have who are always crying that, you know, they've not been paid. They raise LCs from the banks to pre-finance it. And then when they are done, the government pays them. That's what I know.
That'll be for a lot of the local companies. The foreign companies, we know they take World Bank loans, etc. When the loan comes, the money is there. So they give you money to do the work.
The more reason why we all want to see this particular contract, the details in this contract, if it's that arrangement or it's a different arrangement, for us to know how this amount of money was advanced to this company, and yet there's nothing really to show for it. That's a worry. And I support the minority and the parliamentary probe in this matter. State money is all our money involved, and we must have a say when it comes to that.
And you see, the other point too is, yeah, so they give them some money. We saw some pictures. Of course, one of the MPs for the area says the pictures Gida is put out are disingenuous because these were pictures taken in 2021. By 2024, you are showing us pictures of work going on, when indeed the town folks, you know, have been up in arms against the government and against perhaps the company, that they've come to clear the place. You can't blame the company so much, because if you've given them money for mobilization and they've come to encamp there and nothing is happening, they can't continue to keep their staff and be paying them they're paying them money, paying expatriates a lot of money to just be there and nothing is happening. When they also need the same camp or containers and things elsewhere, they will move away because you've not demonstrated seriousness to the project.
So who's the problem? Government not, giving the rest of the other contractor.
The contractor is a business person. The contractor wants to work. If you give the contractor money, they will work. When they get in the mobilization, didn't we see them mobilize and didn't you see them go to the field with the pictures they are showing us today? They went. And the MPs went at the time and they were happy that something was going to happen. And now, 2-3 years down the line, we are here. Nothing is there according to the town folks and according to the minority group that went there. Nothing is happening. The business people, I mean, they I've not seen a contract, but it could be that pay mobilization. If after this time we've not paid, we move away.
Move on, yeah.
You know, so they've cleared their place and they are gone. And what are we saying? Government should find the money and let them do it. And the way we talk about the Pwalugu Dam project, as if it's been done, I mean, this is a real problem. I mean, it's exposed a lot of things, and I think we have to find the money and do this project for the whole of it.
Okay, $1 billion. We'll see whether we get and do it. But we're about to wrap up. We don't have so much time, but I want us to touch on this because there's been some key developments around that to do with the SNIT hotels issue, where we have the president himself directing the labor minister to address the issues. Today, Thursday, he met with, that's the labor minister, the TUC and other stakeholders. He says he wants to meet with others, including SNIT and all that, before he can tell us what really is going on and the way forward. But Salom, Is it a good, development we are seeing? Does that really deal with the issue? I mean, people say just halt this thing.
I don't even understand it. You get me? I don't even understand it. In the courts, if I have a struggle with you over a property, the court on its own or upon application by somebody will injunct the process. So that yes, this is a matter you are fighting over. Both of you stop. Let's deal with the matter. When we finish, whoever wins takes it. I've not heard anywhere that the process has been halted. Why shouldn't the process be halted? The process should be halted by now because now nothing holds the process. So the process, they can still go ahead and work on the process. So why couldn't the president say that I'm directing the minister responsible for pensions to deal with this matter? He's doing it not because he's employment minister, because he's minister in charge of pensions, SNIT is pension people's money. So I'm directing the sector minister to do this. In the meantime, whilst he's doing that, because we don't know how long it's going to take, SNIT and Rock City halt the process until the matter is determined to the satisfaction of the generality of the public. That is leadership. You don't say some and leave some. You don't leave what will benefit you or will benefit your person. It is wrong. Now they could still go ahead and sign a contract. In fact, people believe that the thing has been done and dusted. In fact, people say they've seen the people at places. I mean, at the places doing things. So I don't even know. It is not correct. It is vulgar. It is immoral. It is not correct. It stinks on every level. You're a minister. The government is so your company is buying it. How does it even sound? By virtue of your position, you should be discouraged or disqualified from the process because you're a minister, an MP of a regime, a politically exposed person with connections. No, it shouldn't be. And now even the president hasn't even halted it. The minister should be able to halt it. Say, all sides, hold your fire. Let's deal with this. Let's see what it is before we continue. Why hasn't anybody said that? Why hasn't anybody said that? It's baffling.
My understanding is that the president asked the labor minister or the pensions minister to come in because the labor unions have been wanting to meet the president on this same matter. But then he said that the labor minister or the pensions minister, should rather meet them, take them through what is supposed to be. And then when they are done with all the engagement, then they come to him and then the final meeting will be held on this particular matter. So
they are meeting for them to tell the minister that why are we signing? The facts are clear. What are we meeting for?
So is labor who are raising their concerns? They are really against it. Now,
somebody said that if you see a snake, you don't set up a committee to decide how to kill the snake.
Or not.
You kill the snake.
It's clear.
Kill the snake. Don't set up a committee
to
decide on how to kill the snake. That's what we are doing.
The committee will set out strategies on how to kill the snake.
That's what this implies, isn't it?
Goodness
me. Is it a snake? Yes, it's a snake. Which type of snake? Cobra. Okay, this is a head big.
So after these engagements, the pensions minister will report back to the president on the findings of this engagement, and then the president will also meet them on the findings of the reports of the pensions minister, and then a decision can be taken on this particular matter.
All right, we'll wait to see what comes out of it. We have 2 minutes, 1 minute each for you on the delayed stipends of students.
Every time we hear this, I don't really know what's happening. Every time we hear our brothers and sisters in other countries crying for help. Our brothers in Morocco say that for the past 10 months, they've not received any support from government. Then you ask yourself, what is the scholarship secretariat doing? Because they are in charge of this thing. There's always an allocation in the budget for the office of the president, which the scholarship secretariat is under. And then these monies.
Do they get these monies? And if they do, why do they not give it to?
I think the scholarship secretariat needs to answer a lot of questions in respect of this, because if this thing continues, it's happened too many times. It's been happening forever. It's been happening, forever. And you ask yourself, if you don't have the funds to support these individuals in school, when they approach the secretariat, you should have told them that there's no money, so don't go. Do whatever education you want to do here. But then you encourage them, you sign their papers, and you tell their schools that indeed you are going to take care of the funding, and then when they reach there, they are stranded. And you know, in some countries, students are not supposed to work.
Yeah.
And even if you are supposed to work, limited hours.
Limited hours, yeah.
So in Morocco, for instance, students can only work, I think in Morocco or UK, for only 3 hours. 3 hours, how much are you going to get?
And that is just for working experience.
You know,
it's not to take
how much are they going to pay you? And so you put this children out, I'll say children because a lot of them are young. These children out there in the code, and every now and then they are calling family members home to be sending them money. I have a cousin who is in the UK. Almost all the time we are sending him money.
And that's because if you are sending the money, it's not like you are sending CDs.
Yeah.
Yes.
This exchange rate, you are going to change the money.
Yes.
We are all part of this.
When you look at how these things work, you leave the students at the mercy of predators, the ladies especially.
Yeah.
It is terrible. Yeah. And you see, we need to have a proper rethink of the scholarship system. You know, we need to have a proper rethink of the scholarship system. A proper overhaul of that system must happen. So, because it's disgraceful even to the state that every day your citizens are being called. It's not correct.
It's not right.
You know, at all.
All right, gentlemen, thank you very much. We hope this is dealt with. This is embarrassing. This is sad. Salam Adono here with us at Citi FM and Citi TV, and Samir Riafi also here with us in Citi FM and Citi TV. They joined me today for our discussions on what the papers are saying. My name is Vivian Kai Loko. Thank you too for joining us. We'll see you again next time. Goodbye.